The night she handed him a check for $1 million, she believed she had erased him forever. She believed money could bury love, silence truth, and buy obedience. But 3 years later, when a mega yacht stopped at her private dock and armed bodyguards stepped onto the marble floor she ruled, her hands began to shake, because the single father she paid to disappear had returned, and this time, he was no longer the man she could control. He was just a broke single dad trying to raise his daughter with dignity, until the woman who hated him most offered him $1 million to vanish forever. What choice does a father make when love costs everything, and refusal could destroy the only child he has left? Chapter 1. The Price of Disappearing. Ayan Malik had learned early that life does not give second chances to men like him. His wife died during childbirth, leaving him alone with a newborn daughter and a grief so heavy it bent his spine. Every morning, he woke before sunrise, made breakfast with one hand while holding his daughter in the other, and went to work cleaning boats at a private marina. He never complained, not when people looked down on him, not when his hands cracked from salt and chemicals. His daughter, Zara, was his world, and that was enough. Everything changed the day he met Alina Shah. She was kind in ways he didn't expect, simple smiles, quiet conversations, no judgment. She didn't care that he smelled like engine oil or that his clothes were worn thin. She saw how gently he spoke to his daughter, how carefully he saved money, how honestly he lived. Love grew slowly, naturally, the kind that feels safe. But Alina's mother, Samina Shah, saw something very different. She saw a threat. Samina was powerful, old money, real estate, political connections. To her, Ayan was not a man, he was a mistake waiting to ruin her daughter's future. She warned Alina, she insulted Ayan. When that failed, she took action. One evening, Ayan was called to a private office overlooking the marina. Samina sat across from him, calm, cold, precise. She didn't raise her voice. She didn't threaten him, she simply slid a check across the table. $1 million, she said. Disappear. Leave the city. Never contact my daughter again. Ayan laughed at first, nervously, until he realized she was serious. I don't want your money, he said. I love her. Samina leaned forward. Love doesn't feed children. You have a daughter. Think carefully. She knew. She had done her homework. That night, Ayan stared at his sleeping child, the ceiling fan spinning above like time mocking him. He imagined a future where Zara never had to struggle. Education, safety, healthcare, a life he could never give her with his bare hands. The next morning, he signed the agreement. He left without saying goodbye. Alina searched for him for months. She cried. She blamed herself. Eventually, her mother told her he had used her and run away for money. The truth stayed buried under wealth and silence. Ayan disappeared, not into luxury, but into isolation. He invested carefully. He worked relentlessly. He built businesses from nothing, failed, learned, rose again. He never stopped being a father. Never stopped loving from afar. And he never forgot the woman who paid to erase him. 3 years later, the woman who destroyed him stood on her private dock, staring at a mega yacht she didn't recognize, unaware that the man stepping off it was the same one she once thought she'd buried forever. The yacht arrived just before sunset, massive and unmistakable. Guests whispered. Security panicked. Samina Shah stood frozen as bodyguards stepped forward, not to threaten, but to clear a path. Then she saw him, Ayan Malik, clean suit, calm eyes, confidence shaped by pain, not arrogance. He walked slowly, not to impress, but because he no longer needed to rush for anyone's approval. Samina's voice trembled. You weren't supposed to come back. Ayan smiled, not cruelly, not proudly, but peacefully. I didn't. I returned. Inside the mansion, Alina stood at the top of the stairs, disbelief written across her face. The man she mourned was alive, changed, stronger, still him. The truth poured out that night. The check, the deal, the silence, the sacrifice. Alina cried, not from heartbreak this time, but from understanding. I thought you left us, she whispered. I left so my daughter could survive, he replied. And so one day, I could come back without begging. Samina tried to justify herself. Power, protection, status, but none of it mattered anymore. For the first time in her life, money had failed her. Ayan didn't come for revenge. He came for closure. He returned the check, every cent untouched by ego. You tried to buy my absence, he said calmly. But you paid for my rise. He left again that night, not running, not hiding, but walking beside Alina, choosing love freely this time. Years later, Ion funded schools for single parents, created opportunities for men society overlooks, and taught his daughter the greatest lesson of all. That dignity cannot be purchased. Love cannot be owned, and sometimes, walking away is the first step toward becoming unstoppable. Money can silence people, but it cannot erase truth. It can delay justice, but it cannot stop destiny. And when a good man is pushed away for the wrong reasons, he doesn't disappear. He rises.